All right. Good morning, first hour, and good afternoon, fifth hour. Intro to art. This is the time that some of you guys have been looking forward to. This is the time that some of you guys have been deeply regretting. But as you can see on the screen right here, I'm about to give you guys a presentation on your project involving the digital stencils using positive and negative space that we've spent pretty much the whole 6-week process here during our first progress report, thinking about working with and trying to understand how to make it work digitally. You can see an example here on the screen of one of the more famous stencil arts done by Andy Warhol. His Marilyn Monroe triptych is a series that we're going to borrow some visual inspiration from or in regards to making your digital selfie stencil. Now, as you can see right here on this PowerPoint slide, I've basically sort of explained everything, but just to kind of drive home the point a little bit further, when we first started off, I wanted to make sure that you guys understood the idea between positive space and negative space, where something's at and where something's not at. Why was this important? Because the areas where something's at in a stencil, we need to figure out how to make sure that it can be kept, while where there's something not at, where there's negative space, we need to figure out a way to get rid of it without getting rid of everything inside the stencil. Now, for a few weeks, we've worked with the X-Acto knives and cutting out through index cards things like letters or initials, and then we wrapped up everything with the Cardinal logo and tried to figure out how we would do multiple colors with the Cardinal logo. And as frustrating as that was, it was a great experience for some of you guys because you saw how tough and difficult it can be if you make one simple mistake. There isn't an undo button. There isn't a way to go backwards. If something slides around or you use too much paint, it ends up affecting the whole thing. We fast forward to what we just wrapped up yesterday in class, and that was using the computer to make a digital stencil. Now, this has been met with a lot of mixed emotions. Some people jumped right on this and thought, hey, this is easy, this is cool, all I gotta do is follow the steps. Some of you guys got caught up in confusing one step for another, and I tried to be as clear as possible. Matter of fact, even shooting demonstration videos, which you guys will have the links to provided on my website to be able to go back to and kind of watch those steps. But everything that we just wrapped up is absolutely exactly what you guys are going to be working on for your digital selfie pop art stencil. So without further ado, let's take a look at the requirements here and maybe answer some of your questions that you have in front of you. Now, just like every other project, you can see here that I have 4 requirements that you guys will have to meet to achieve 100% on this project. And they're pretty easy when you look at them and you break them down. They might be a little wordy here, but I bolded some of the more important areas. Matter of fact, these are the areas that lots of times in the past people have gotten confused and lost points on. So I'm going to spend some time maybe driving home the point here a little bit better. For example, number 1, the first requirement. Each one of you guys are going to be responsible for bringing in a selfie digital photograph of yourself. Now, it's in my hopes that you guys already have these photographs on your phones, on websites, on your Facebook, on your Instagram account, whatever it is. I hope that you guys already have photographs, because the other side to this is if you don't have photographs, you will have to use your student ID photo, which some of them are great, some of them are amazing, some of them aren't so amazing. So I'm hoping that you guys can choose wisely here and keep this in mind, that whether you bring one in or not, one will be provided for you, and it's going to be a picture of you, so you've only got to work with whatever you've got to work with, all right? Number 2, each student will download and work off of the digital selfie stencil template. Notice that's all in bold because I have already created a file for you. Matter of fact, at the end of these requirements, I'm going to show you what that file looks like so that you can see how organized it is and where you guys are just going to simply open up a folder and plop some stuff down on one of the layers. But you won't be working off of anything else. I won't be having you guys kind of freehand this or freestyle this, if you will, and try to figure out means on your own. You guys will have a template that you're going to be working from, where most of the work is really done for you. Now, number 3, students have followed proper procedures in regards to making a digital stencil. I'm going to get this up here, both from past classroom demonstrations and exercises when being prepped and worked on from your digital image. Now, I'm looking for, just like in the Marilyn Monroe version, 4 different versions of this. So you're not just doing this once, you're not just doing this twice, you're going to take the same picture and you're going to make a multicolor stencil 4 times. This might be a little bit easier when you guys get a chance to see the template that I've already set up for you guys, so you can kind of see where everything's at. But understand that all of those resources that we've already been shooting, the videos in class yesterday, the videos that I've linked to through YouTube, are all things that are available to you guys to be able to use. The cheat sheet, the YouTube playlist, all of that stuff is available for you guys to be able to answer some of those questions. So let's be patient there, all right? Watch, go through some of those things. Now, number 4, most important thing, because you guys are going to be doing this 4 different times. Each time or each variation that you do this will have to have a different color scheme. So you're not just simply doing this once and then duplicating or copying that thing 3 more times and having an image that looks exactly the same. You're actually going to be doing this 4 different times with 4 different color schemes. Let me go back, if I can, really quick to the image right here, right? Let me zoom in here so you guys can see. Notice how the image on the screen is of Marilyn Monroe, but each one of them has a different color scheme involved in it, whether it's a background color, it's the midtones, it's the highlights, or it's the shadows. They all have a different color scheme, and this is a great example of what I'm looking for from you in regards to that 4th requirement. All right? Now, I'm sure you guys have a ton of questions, and I think a lot of them will be able to be answered here by showing you guys this template that I made. So let me zoom off of this presentation that you guys are looking at on the screen right now, and let me go to Photoshop to show you exactly what you're working with. Now, up on the screen, it might be a little confusing at first, but up on the screen is what I call a digital template. It's like a document, a piece of paper, if you will, that already has some stuff working in on it. To make sure that you guys could see everything, I did sort of go in and change some of the colors here so that you could see the quadrants or the areas where your stencils are going to go. Here's stencil number 1, stencil number 2, and then on the bottom row, stencil 3 and stencil 4. But I think what's most important about this document, this digital template that I'm having you guys download and work off of, isn't maybe what you see, but what's working in the background. Let's go over here real quick. Let me zoom in to the layers, and notice here on the screen you have a collection of groups. I'm pointing to it on the screen, but maybe it would work better with my mouse. You have a collection of groups here, and then you have layers that are all currently turned on. What's important here to understand is some of the stuff that we've already gone over. Like, for example, the checkerboard pattern represents invisibility. It represents a clear background. So you'll notice the background here is completely clear. The next folder up says paper. What does this mean? It means all the different sheets of paper that you can customize the colors on. Right now, there's 4 layers hidden inside that with, various colors like light gray or darker gray, and then 2 white ones right here. I might change that up, I don't know. But these are the background sheets of paper that you guys can change the color on to whatever you want to that fits a little bit better with your stencil. Now, moving up, you'll notice that you have a group or a collection of layers labeled in each one of these folders. Version 1, Version 2, Version 3, and Version 4. I mainly made these folders so that you guys could see that you are going to have to do this not just once with the highlights or once with the midtones or once with the shadows, but you're actually going to have to do this a total of 4 times. There's version number 2, version number 3 with the exact same layers in it, however they're blank because, well, nobody started on this yet. Now, I think one of the questions that people are going to ask is, well, you showed us a really easy way to duplicate layers, duplicate groups. Do we necessarily have to keep these folders, or can we just do all of our work in version number 1 and then make duplicates of that and move it around? And my answer to that is yes. Matter of fact, do what you feel you're most comfortable with. Being kind of good with Photoshop, I think that would be the greatest advice that I could give you. Do all your work here on version number 1 and make sure that all your files or all your layers are stored here inside that folder. Then simply 2-finger click, and you can see on the screen you could duplicate the group and duplicate it 3 or 4 times and move it around and just simply edit the colors from there. Now, if you don't want to do that and you just want to kind of save face here, then it might be a good idea to just actually use these as much as possible and then go in and, make sure that everything's working the way that you expected it to work. It's up to you guys. You're going to have a lot of time to work on this, so I want to make sure that you guys choose a route that's comfortable for you. But again, if you're already here watching this video and you're watching me click around on the screen and you see where this is at, then you've gotten to a point where you're comfortable, because that means you've already gone to my website. You've downloaded the files, which are going to be linked here under the day. Well, that's not my website. This is my website. You've already linked it and gotten to the links, and you've already downloaded those links, and you can watch those either on your own cell phone, on your own device, or within the laptops themselves. So look for the post. It's not there yet because I'm still shooting this video, so I can't post anything until this video is over. I won't see you until Friday, which again, Friday is a half day because Records Day is closed and over with at the conclusion of Friday. So make sure that anything that you've yet to get checked, if you're missing a sketchbook and I told you guys to hold off, make sure Friday you get that information to me. If you didn't get a chance to turn in your digital stencil from previously in the week, the 2 Lego figures, make sure you get that into me. Or any other work that for some reason didn't get a chance to get sent in. This first set of 6 weeks was a little bit crazy because we had so many snow days and then a winter break. So I'm kind of breaking some of my own rules here in regards to late work. I just want to make sure that you guys have an opportunity to gather as many points as you possibly could with all those days that we've had off. All right. I will be shooting another video for Thursday, so I'm going to sign off now. I'm going to leave you guys to working within the computers, and if you have any questions, save them for me when I get back on Friday. Good luck, and I will see you, like I said, when I come back on Friday.